Hello YouTube, this is Zach, and today I'm going to be talking about Emma Kok. And this is a very interesting story that was brought to me. I'm sure that if you're watching this and you're familiar with her, you already know this story, but I will tell it for all my viewers who aren't familiar with who she is. She's a teenager, and I guess this is a performance of her singing Voilà. Yeah, Voilà, but she has gastroparesis, which means that her stomach is completely paralyzed. And I am very interested in seeing how this plays out because I've heard this performance is incredibly good and very interesting. I don't know what to expect at all, but I'm a professional singing teacher, so my whole background is in vocal analysis and things like that. So I'm always a fan of watching people overcome their limitations and getting past things that are problematic for them. So I'm very, very interested in seeing this. So let's go. Let's see this. This is Emma Kok.
Écoutez-moi, moi la chanteuse à demi, parlez de moi, à vos amours, à vos amis, parlez-leur de cette fille aux yeux noirs et de son rêve faux. Moi ce que je veux, c'est écrire des histoires qui arrivent jusqu'à vous.
Wow. Okay. So there's a lot to say here. So I'm obviously I'm an analyst. So I'm going to break everything down and I'm going to try to explain this as clearly as I can. So I think she's 13 here, and I've worked with girls that are this age. I've taught voice to girls around this age, and it's very common when you are that young that you tend to have a breathy kind of airy sound in your voice. You know, I commonly when I talk about adult, singers, men and women, I always say, like, don't make a breathy sound because you're not getting good cord closure. But because when you're this age, the vocal folds are still so elastic that they haven't fully formed and hardened and the cartilages aren't really stable yet, it's very common for girls this age to have kind of a breathy, airy sound. It's completely normal. There's no problem with it. It's completely to be expected. What I really like about this is how she still navigates past some of that breathiness and get some stable cord closure. You can hear some presence on the sound. Like if you go back right here, you can clearly hear on these pitches, these last few pitches in this phrase, how the breathiness is. She's kind of learned to navigate it a little bit despite her age. Right here, right there. Yeah, so she's doing a good job of kind of moving in and out of that kind of fuller sound despite her age. It's really nice. Her voice sounds a lot older than she is. I mean, she sounds probably closer to like 17, I would guess, 16, 17. Really nice stuff. The stomach paralyzed thing is insane to me because to get breath support, right? Like you have to engage a bunch of muscles. Obviously everybody knows about the diaphragm. You have to engage your transversus abdominis, which is like the muscle beneath the diaphragm, which pushes your viscerals down. Like your viscerals are your guts, where your intestines are, your stomach, all that kind of stuff. So when you breathe and the transversus abdominis engages, it all pushes all that stuff down. So I wonder how she navigates that with it, like her stomach being paralyzed. It's insane.
Voilà, voilà, voilà qui je suis. Mais voilà mes messieurs, mes années chapeaux. Oui, mais voilà tout le bruit et tout le silence.
Yeah, she's so stable. I mean, look at her breath. Her shoulders aren't raising. Her breath is so stable. So even beyond just the age thing or the stomach thing, like this is just remarkable vocal control in general. I mean, the fact that she's got such a consistent tone, doesn't matter how old she is. This is really refined singing. It's really nice.
Regardez-moi, ôtez-moi ce qu'il reste. Regardez-moi, avant que je me déteste. Crois vous dire que les lèvres tenant.
Nice sense of line, nice legato. Legato is, as I've said a million times on this channel, it's being able to keep a consistent line of sound throughout your singing. So if you listen to this phrase again, you can kind of hear how the notes begin, and you hear this singular sound that carries through. There's not really any breaks as she sings the phrase right here. This right here. Yeah. Great legato. Nice vibrato, good space. Usually when you get a solid vibrato sound, usually that comes from creating, good space in the pharynx, which is the back of the mouth, getting stable chord closure. Again, I'm not being super excited about this because really what's going on in my brain is I'm thinking like, how on earth is her sound this consistent when she can't move like the lower parts of her stomach? I'm kind of just baffled by it. The problem is kind of like with Iron Mouse, like when I analyze Iron Mouse, it's not that I'm trying to make a monolith out of people with issues, but it's like how do you do it? I mean, how do you make it work? It's amazing. I mean, how do you do this? Nice legato again. Great line. Great line. Wow, she's 13, man. Oh, 15. I'm sorry, she's 15. It's still good. It doesn't matter. She's a teenager. Like, it sounds amazing far beyond our years. It's awesome. Awesome stuff. Nice movement through the passaggio, moving into the head voice with a couple of those notes, taking some of the weight off the sound as she moves up. Really good. Amazing intonation. Good vowel choices. Wow, she's terrific. Yet her degree of vocal control is exceptional for her age. Like, I can only think of maybe 2 people who I've encountered at that age that were this consistent. My goodness. How? I mean, I know this is an emotional piece and I'm supposed to be getting caught up in that, but me being the analyst and the voice teacher, I'm just like, I'm stunned by how consistent this is. This is ridiculous.
Ça me sauverait pas, non. Me faire souffrir, je sais pas comment. Aimez-moi comme un ennemi qui s'en va pour toujours. Je veux quand même, parce que moi je sais pas mes contours.
Great line.
Voilà,
Yes. Wow, man, her legato is incredible. Like, where did she come from? This is like, you just don't hear girls this age singing like this. I have one student that I think back on that I was working on, but she was like 7 or 8. I haven't heard from her in a long time because I haven't worked with her in a long time, but I remember telling her parents that she had a lot of talent, and I this is similar to what I think she would have become as a singer. I don't work with her anymore because I moved from where I was working at the time. But yeah, I mean that's one of the only people, maybe one other person that I personally worked with, and in terms of like, even when I went to high school and I was in like recitals and in literary competitions, solo competitions and stuff like that, and I'd see guys and girls around this age group that I was competing with, none of us had this kind of consistency. Maybe at All-State Choir, I saw maybe one person who was pushing 18 that had this kind of consistency. I mean, this is just absolutely remarkable stuff. Stomach condition or not, this is, for her age, this is tremendous. Excellent space. Again, creating a lot of space in the back of the mouth. Great pharyngeal positioning. Good breath support. I mean, I don't see any of the raised shoulders thing at all. I'm really kind of... So, I'm also trying to look at this from the framework of someone of her age. You know, I can't hold 15-year-olds to the same vocal standards I'd hold a 25-year-old to, a 30-year-old to, because the voice is not as developed, right? So when I hear the vocal qualities, I don't hear a 15-year-old. I hear someone who, like, she honestly sounds very similar tonally to a lot of like freshman students who would come into college and they're doing like Italian arias, like freshman, sophomore type stuff. That's the most apt comparison. She certainly sounds older than her age, and she's just setting the mechanism up to be successful with the good breath support. She's done a couple little head tilting stuff, but that's not the end of the world in this case, but really stable, consistent. I mean, she's a marvel. I wonder what she sounds like now. You know, I'm very interested. I'll probably watch something after this, something else of hers, to get an idea. This is excellent. Nice legato, my goodness. The duration of that line. I mean, listen to that. Listen to how long that line was. One breath. I just have to go back more. Right here. Wow, like that's crazy. That's crazy. Like that's crazy. That's crazy. I keep repeating myself. I sound like a broken record, but that's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. That tonal consistency, the way that even though she's parsing out her breath as much as she is and having to make that air last as long as it is, the tone sounds identical when the line ends to when it starts. You don't hear any sign of air running out at all. And I mean, then I have to remind myself this girl has like a paralyzed stomach. Like, so all of the mechanism that moves around down there is being managed completely differently. I mean, my gosh, I would go so far to say that this is a prodigious singing talent. I'm not smiling very much because my brain's like in analysis mode, but this is tremendous. Wow. Really nice. Wow, man. Yeah, like I hope, like I said, I'm gonna have to look into her more after this video, but I hope that she's pursuing this professionally, because this is about as talented of a singer in this style, of this genre, of this type of vocalization at this age that I've ever seen. Excellent. I haven't even talked about her embouchures. Phenomenal. Yeah, that's about as good as it gets for somebody that age, and especially considering. Oh, I didn't mean to screen cap on this dude. Let me go a little bit.
Bravo.
Yeah, bravo for sure. Excellent. Yeah, bravo. Great performance. Yeah, I mean, I think that we tend to lose sight of what it means for, the youth to sing. And we get so used to hearing adults sing that we don't put into perspective, like, what a voice of that caliber at that age implies, and the amount of talent and the amount of skill. and I guess maybe this understanding of mine comes from I've worked at two music schools that were I wouldn't say all kids, but they were predominantly people that were younger. Like, I mean, I've worked with people of all ages, and since I've got my YouTube channel, I've worked with people who were mostly adults. But when I was at the last two schools that I worked at, it was predominantly kids, and so I experienced working with a lot of singers that were around this age. So I got a big sample size and a big idea of what to expect out of these age groups. And I mean, like, 15 years old with stomach paralysis, singing, it's not really an aria. I mean, it's a French art song of sorts. Exceptional, absolutely exceptional talent. I will definitely be checking out more of what she's done. Yeah, that is just phenomenal stuff. I didn't even talk about her embouchures. Her embouchures are like the lip shaping. And aside from maybe one or two vowels, her embouchures were nice and narrow and rounded and consistent and even. She's gotten great vocal instruction. Kudos to whoever her teacher is, because you managed her whole situation incredibly well. You have her on the path to incredible success. Exceptional performance, and I hope that her career is taking off from there. So last little plug for me, I'm actually in the process of raising money so that I can go to the Vocology Institute at the University of Utah in Salt Lake City this summer. And I'm getting close to my goal. It's starting to get there. I'm not quite there yet. But if you don't mind, if you support what I do and you appreciate this, and you want me to further my understanding of voice science, and you want to help support me in my goals to be able to further my education, please consider donating on my GoFundMe. As I said before, please like and subscribe to this video. I'm definitely going to check more of this out. If you all have some recommendations of more things to listen for this, please let me know, because this was phenomenal. I really enjoyed it. So thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all soon. Take care. Bye.